Welcome back to another Friday Ignite. Justin Popovich here. Today I want to talk about, or I want to address, the idea of taking action and massive action. And I was joking with a friend yesterday that you'll hear a lot of experts or speakers or coaches and different people tell you that the key to success is to take massive action and learn from that action. In some cases, they're right. Where, like, let's say you eat too much, right? And sometimes you just got to put down the fork and take the action of getting off your ass and going for a walk or a run. That's cool. But in a lot of cases, just taking action or taking massive action doesn't always work. And what I mean by that is it doesn't always work unless the emotion is behind it, or unless you're in the right state of mind. So as an example, if you want to improve your relationship by having a better greeting for your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend when they get home from work, because normally you've checked out or you barely acknowledge them, you need to actually experience that. You need to feel that you want to do that, and when they come in, you're present and you actually do the greeting with the emotion behind it. Or if you want to accomplish a project at work, you want to work on something that's going to produce some big results, either in your business or your job or whatever, but you're being blocked by the state of anger that you're in because of what happened on your way to work, or what happened when you dealt with a colleague 5 minutes ago and you're just fuming over that, you're not going to get the work done. So taking massive action isn't always the key. You have to take action. But what happens before you take the action is controlling the emotional state you're in. And that's the point of this video, is I want to remind people that you have the choice. You always have the ability to control your emotion in any moment, but very few of us actually remember that. So I want to plant that seed. I want to remind you that you have the ability to control your emotion. I'm not going to say it's an easy thing to do, but you have the ability to control it, and you can control the emotion to be very empowering so that the actions you do take are amazing and produce the results you want, that you feel better and better about yourself every day. But it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't just happen by fluke, or it's not just something that certain people are gifted with. You can actually practice putting yourself into an emotional state that's going to give you the results that you want, and I want to encourage you to do that. So for me, I'm going to just come out and admit that, and it's probably not all that surprising to those of you that know me, that some of the emotional states that block me are anger and fear. So in the past, and I'm getting better at this, I'm not perfect yet, I'm definitely getting better at this, but in the past, I would just fly off on anything. I would get so mad at certain things, and I would be stuck in a state of anger, sometimes for hours. So how could I possibly take massive action towards my goals if I'm fuming over something that happened? And a lot of the times, it was something pretty insignificant that would drive me crazy. Or I would be fearful of doing something, like getting on camera and doing this stuff used to just terrify me, but I've done it so often that I got over it. But the point is, I have those certain negative emotions that would control me, and we all do. So you need to sit down and figure out what those are for you. Once you figure out what they are, you can figure out what the opposite is. So for me, if I'm in a state of anger or frustration, the opposite is to feel motivated and passionate about what I'm doing. And so I literally had to go to work on myself to practice, and I'm still working on myself and practicing how to switch that around. One of the things that I do is I actually have now programmed into my calendar this little conditioning update. So 3 times a day, at 3 different segments of my day, my calendar pops up with a sound, says conditioning. And it's a visual and audio reminder to myself, I'm going to take 5 or 10 or 15 minutes right now to actually practice putting myself into an emotional state that's empowering, that's going to make me take awesome action, and actually let me practice getting out of any states that may be holding me back. And it's literally something that I do 3 times a day, and sometimes even more, because I'm now conscious of it, because I now decided that I want to be able to control my emotional state whenever possible. So I have various little rituals I do. Sometimes it's just getting up and walking around and getting my blood moving. Other times it's doing push-ups and chanting to myself, or repeating my goals, or visualizing things that I'm working on, usually a combination. I remember maybe a year or 2 ago, I made this video. It was kind of just a joke video, but it actually got a good reaction, where I talked about how I would get up and do these hilarious scissor kicks, and I'll show you a clip of that. Some people might want to warm up. I'm an expert at it, so I don't warm up. I've been doing it for such a long period of time. Warm up would almost be a waste of time. And essentially what you do, I'll actually turn this way so you can see it, but you get your body moving, and you for basically as long as you can. You can see it wins you, which is a good thing, actually. Cardio is supposed to be actually a good thing. The point is that you can do different things to break any negative emotional patterns and put yourself back into a state where the actions that you are going to take are going to be congruent with what you're trying to do. And so what is that for you? I want you to take some time today to figure out first, what are those negative emotions that stop you or that put you into a state where you're not able to take the actions that are going to get you the results you want. And then second, decide what it is you would rather feel, what's going to give you that mental state that's going to make you take those awesome actions that are going to produce the results you want, and how can you start conditioning it? Is it a calendar alert like I do a few times a day where you remind yourself, oh yes, I need to practice controlling my emotions. I'm going to do that right now by getting up, walking around, thinking about things that put me in a better state, and to do it over and over and over again so I get better at controlling it. What is that for you? Start thinking about how you can do this in your life, and let me know what it is that's working for you, because I'd love to hear your strategies for getting around this and for controlling your emotional state to get yourself to take that action that's going to produce the results that you want. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next week.